Hey, it's Cody. I hopped on here to do the 54321 tarot tag. If you have not seen anything about this tag, this is a tag made by Kelly from Lil Pink Bear. I will tag their original video in my description box, of course. And the premise of this video is showing 5 decks, 4 books, 3 spreads, 2 habits or tarot paraphernalia, and 1 piece of advice that I would give to other tarot readers. So I thought this was a super cool tag to begin with, and then I have been tagged a couple of times by Sophie from Tarot Magpie and also by Tegan from Cosmic Creeper. So thank you for tagging me in this. I'll stick everybody's links to everybody's videos in the description box so that you can watch theirs, but there are a ton of these videos, and so yeah, for some reason I had a really hard time picking like 5 decks for this, so just strap in, okay? So the first thing is 5 decks. There's really no instruction on the decks, like why you should pick them. So I, first of all, the first 3 decks I'm going to show you are my majors only decks. This one is super cool. This is the Omens Tarot. And this is by Anna Draws Stuff. I think it's Anna. It might be Anna Draws Stuff. I'm sorry if I'm fucking up that name. This deck is still available on Etsy. This is indie, obviously, since it's on Etsy. I think this deck is so cool. I feel like at one point they were acting like somebody somewhere was acting like she might draw minors to go with it, but I don't believe that ever happened. I think this is just a really cool deck. I suspect it's like Dungeons and Dragons sort of themed or like adjacent, maybe. I will be honest, I have never actually played that. Okay. Trigger warning for an accidental teen death here. When I was in high school, there was this group of kids, and this one girl had invited me to come and play Dungeons and Dragons with them. And I was super excited. People didn't usually, like... Okay, you have to understand that Dungeons and Dragons was, like, not cool at that point in time. Like, the early 2000s, like, people simply did not talk to you if they suspected you of even doing it. So, like... I was really excited, and then horribly, literally, fucking trigger warning for just, like, violence and shit, man. One of the guys in the group had pulled over to stop someone's, or to help someone stopped on the side of a pretty busy road, and he was standing between the vehicles, and somebody driving by accidentally hit the back vehicle and smashed him, and he died. Like, he did not graduate, he was dead. The Dungeons and Dragons never happened. I have, like, this terror of being on the side of the road now, like, regardless of anything. I don't know, man, that shit fucked me up. And, like, this wasn't really a kid that I was friends with, but, like, it was close enough to fuck with me, if that makes any sense. Anyway, there was your traumatic tale, I guess, for this video. Anyway, this deck is cute. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, the next one is... This is a Natural World Tarot. It is by... On the inside it shows. So, this deck, I don't normally keep the deck in the box. I just pulled it out so that I could find the name of it. So, the box has seen better days. It's been in storage. So, okay. So, the deck is by, looks like Francesca Soluri, and written and illustrated by Isabella Bastidas. So, I love this deck. I have a couple of prints also by the same artist because I think her work is fucking phenomenal. You seeing this? Look at the devil. Oh my god. This deck also is... Well, shit. I believe it's still available. I will look. For some reason, I didn't look. I just assumed this one was. I'm pretty sure that it is. And it also is on Etsy. So if you're interested in this, I would recommend going there. I know the prints from this shop are still up. And I mean, I don't really see a reason why the deck wouldn't still be available, but I mean, unless it was just like a limited print run or something, I don't actually know. I love this hermit. I have not used this deck in a while, like a couple years, and I'm really feeling like it's time to pull it back out. Oh, this is one of the prints that I have. The other one that I have is a deer. I don't think it's actually one of the cards. Beautiful. All right, my final majors only deck. This was in one of my early versions of like a tarot wrap kind of bag, so please excuse that. This is a Trionfi della Luna by Patrick Valenza. What is happening? Oh. This was at the very beginning. Oh, these are like extra cards. When he was just kind of, I think, messing with the idea of doing this deck. And it's... At this point, it was majors only. And this is the paradoxical version or edition or whatever of that. I don't know how much of even the majors are still the same. I keep going back and forth on if I want to go ahead and get the actual, like, the full version of this deck. I had kind of decided I didn't want to. But then he came out with a fully illustrated version, and I'm like, oh, Christ, maybe I need it. But there's also a lot of other super cool decks. There's, oh my god, what was it? Xammer Twins Oracle or something that recently came out. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, have you ever gone to a restaurant and the menu just has like 6,000 things and your brain can't even comprehend all the options that you have? That's how I feel when I go on Patrick Valenza's website. I'm like, oh, there are too many things that I actually want, and like, I would just, I don't know. So that was the majors. There's also some extra cards. I think there was, an alternate devil. And then some of these were just... Wow, I have these stored nicely. Why did I store them like this? I mean, these, I guess you could leave them in, or, you know, as their own little thing, but I did not. So these were my majors only decks. But seeing as it's asking for 5 decks, how was this? Oh no, they're stacking up like that. I do have 2 more to show. So this one, in a poorly made homemade bag, because I don't think that the tuck box that came with this survived moving. This is the Cephalopod Tarot. It's by Kitsune Garcia. And I got this a long time ago. It was on... What's it called? Not Make Playing Cards. It's like Game Crafter. So this is like a watercolor deck. And it's just cephalopods. That's really cute. I will admit I don't use this deck very often. I don't think I've ever shown it. Even on my Instagram page. I forget it's there. It's in a drawer. And it's just one of those things where for some reason I don't recall that this deck exists. There is another deck. When I was trying to find where it was that I found this, I found a deck on Make Playing Cards called Cephalopod Tarot, but it was not this one. It was a different one. Not that it didn't look cool, but it's just, I was trying to find where I could, if this deck was still available, and it is. So I will stick the link to all of these decks that I've shown. Links in the description box. I'll just grab chunks here. We don't need to look at the entire thing. I really like the idea of it being very, very pointed thematically. Look at the Ten of Swords. It's smart at the same time as being like cute. but not like overly cute. I mean, that's like, they're pretty, I don't know. I think this is such a cool deck, and I always feel bad whenever I remember it exists. Like, oh Christ, I gotta use this more often. But then I, you know, continue to not. Alright, the last deck that I wanted to show, it is indie, but it's probably one I think we've all seen. I had a friend recently send me a copy of the Ritual Tarot by Tierra May, I think is how you say it. And I do not deserve this. I do not deserve the deck. I do not deserve the friend. It's ridiculous, honestly. And this deck, I had seen this deck, and some part of me was like, hell yeah, I want that. Okay, well, I'll tell you about this in a minute. But then I would see the price, and also I'd like, I don't know if it was sour grapes or what, and I'd be like, you know, it might be kind of bright colors for me. It's just, I don't know, you know. But then I was sent this, and I'm weirdly obsessed with this deck. Like, it goes everywhere. I put it in my purse, even though it's like, it's huge. It's not like a purse-sized deck, if that makes sense. So, I don't know if it's like some kind of paint marker or something that I wrote some of the cards that I wouldn't be able to distinguish from others. I know I'm going to be able to get the majors. I mean, and this scratches like right off. You can just get rid of it. I don't know if you could see that, but, yeah, holy shit. Good thing you can just scrape this off, because goddamn. I don't know how I'm ever gonna tell the court cards. Like, they are... Where's some courts in this page? I don't know how... I'll be able to tell, I think, like, kings and queens, maybe? But, like, okay, this is a King of Pentacles, and I feel like if I just drew this out of nowhere, like, I've got KP down here, but I would be like, what the fuck is this? Is this the Ace? There's the Page of Wands. Like, I don't know if I would, at some point I will be able to, but, like, it's gonna be a struggle for me to get the court cards down. I was able, I mean, I don't even really need these numbers on the majors, because I'm pretty confident that I'll know them when I see them. I was thrown off because I knew there were no titles on these cards. So I went through them at first. I was like, yeah, I can definitely see, you know, how that card is this or whatever. But there's an extra major and it was fucking me up. So I did write, this is actually the Lust card. Like, I'm gonna remember this now. I could get rid of it. You know what? Look, I'll just show you. You can literally just... scrape, scrape, and it's like it never happened. Good as new. Who, my friend who sent me this deck also sent me the pen marker thing. And it's just, it's too fucking generous, man. Like, nice things don't happen for me unless there's like some kind of terrible thing occurs to weigh it out. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm not really showing you anything you haven't already seen. This fucks me up so much. There has been so much about this deck. That, yeah, I mean, I think you've seen it, so I do have to put this away. Okay, so these were my 5 decks that I showed, and now the next thing is 4 books. Apparently I'm talking a lot today, and, this might be quite the lengthy video. Alright, so the first book that I want to pull out here, this is Finding the Fool by Meg Jones Wall of 3 AM Tarot. I think this is probably the best, like, card by card explanation of, like, what cards mean. It's just, and it gives you a good big picture of, like, cards in general, without necessarily getting into, like, all of the occult imagery, every bit of it. I think especially for a beginner, or even if you're kind of more advanced beginner, I think this would be really good. I mean, I use this sometimes. Like, for some reason, I don't fucking know what, like, the 2 and 3 of Wands mean. Like, I don't fucking know, right? So, every time I see them, I'm always like, So then I get to, go and look what that means. So this it's just, all right, we've got like, it talks about the numerology of it, the element, there's keywords, we've got the writing here, the write-up in readings is kind of like, it's what the card means, but like how you could actually interpret it for a reading. And I think one of my favorite things is the journal prompts that really help encourage you to explore those themes, you know, connected sort of to different areas of life. I have not actually done it. I really probably should go back and do all of them. When I was first going through this book, I do have a review of this book up somewhere on my channel. I don't remember. But even if you don't write down necessarily your answers to the journal prompts, it's just something good to think about. And I'm really impressed with this book. Oh, that was my bookmark for something I was looking at. Oh, astrological correspondences. Yeah. So I recommend this book. To people looking to learn more about tarot. That one. It has a lot of information, but it's not overwhelming, and I think that's the good thing about it. This book, it didn't specifically say tarot books, so these are all kind of, you know, witchy kind of books, I guess. This is The Flowering Wand, Rewilding the Sacred Masculine. This is by Sophie Strand. And I have mentioned this book before. I'm going to be doing a reread of it pretty soon here and a review because I love this book. This book is so fucking cool. It's so well done. The Rewilding the Sacred Masculine is just, it's a thing I think has been on my mind a lot since I have two sons. I mean, I will be damned if I add two more men to the problem. Okay? Like, that's just... Alright, so what I love about this book is it's almost... Again, it's not overwhelming. It's not, like, super academic. It's not, like, slogging through... Like, I don't... You know the books that feel like that? This one is not. The chapters are short. Like, here's Lunar Medicine for the Masculine. The Empress card embraces the masculine. And it's even things like, all right, a new myth for Narcissus, seeing ourselves in the ecosystem. And it takes, you know, stories, a lot of stuff about Dionysus in here. Grow back your horns. Here's the devil card is Dionysus. I mean, there's tarot references in here. This is not a specifically, like, tarot or even a witchcraft book. I don't know what actually it would be called. Tristan in Transformation, escaping the trauma of the hero's journey. There's Bible stories, you know, reimagined in here. Here's Merlin. Don't know why I have that in there. It's just... I love this book. I think that there is something in here for everyone. And, oh my god, there was a thing. Wait, there's a Tom Bombadil. Where is it? Yep, sharing the meal. Tom Bombadil offers the masculine safe haven. It's just, it feels very relevant right now in the world, in my life. Yeah. Super, super recommend The Flowering Wand by Sophie Strand. My third book is Book of Shadows by Phyllis Currott. I had not read this book before. And reading it now, it's like Wiccan focused, but okay, here's the thing. I feel like, especially if I had been newer to this practice, this book would have been fucking instrumental for me. I mean, I'm only about halfway through it at this moment, but it really would have set me on the right path and asking the right questions, I think. There's a lot of almost like intro to like more matriarchal beliefs and things that people had before, like the patriarchal religions of today. While I don't think all of the information we know, we know more now than 20 years ago we did, and I don't think all of the information in here is necessarily accurate, but it really would have set me on the right path, stepping out onto it. So, it's kind of a mix between like I like that it's written, it almost is written like a fiction book, right? We've got our main character, we've got recurring characters, we've got the job and the themes of that, and then sort of the contrast of there being this witch's circle that she goes to and the things that she learns, the way she learns them, and it really reads a lot like a work of fiction, but at the same time it's like it's an autobiography. So I think this is really cool, and I like it. All right, my fourth book is the Book of Ancestors by Claire Goodchild. Now, my copy just arrived day before yesterday, I think. I don't know, doesn't matter. I have been waiting for this, and then I was pretty bummed to see that it was in the spine. I don't know, the light's kind of weird. It's in horrendous shape. It has like this big like tear. This was like all torn up, the paper. I kind of laid it back down. I put a little bit of glue underneath it. There is a wild situation with like this funeral home in my town. It's made national news. They have found some bodies who were improperly stored, and it's over 115 of them have been sitting there for months, and people at the post office called about the smell. I mean, we've got hazmat teams, we've got out-of-state kinds of cleaning crews, and people helping trying to identify these. Like, this whole thing has been fucking batshit. Anyway, they've got the post office kind of messed up. I don't think that they're currently able to work in it just because it's sort of been taken over by the other people who have had to, like, come and deal with this fucking disaster next door. So I don't know exactly where the stuff is going, but I have seen a lot of people complaining about the state that things have, like, things they've ordered have arrived in at their houses. So honestly, I feel kind of lucky that this even showed up, because I don't know where the stuff, I don't know where this post office is currently operating out of right now. So yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other story. I've been so excited for this book. I also have the Book of Seances by Claire Goodchild, and this is the same. This is Claire Goodchild of Black and the Moon. So we're talking like Antique Anatomy Tarot. Oh my god, why am I blanking on the other things? Compendium of Constellations, Oracle of Oddities. So yeah, you know, if you know, you know. This book, I don't want to show you like everything in here, but it's got like the illustrations that I love. Okay, I will say here's something that I really, really like is if I open a book and what I see is just like full solid text, sometimes I don't feel like fucking reading that. I'm like, oh Christ, I don't want to deal with that. But this one just has it done in like almost like small sections. Like it's something about my brain, right? So I look at this page, I'm like, hell yeah, this is reasonable. We've got little, almost bullet points. We've got these little green boxes for special things. Even like this. These pages are manageable to me. If that makes sense. I love this depiction of a family tree. It makes it seem really cool. I am almost done with this, and I will be coming out with a review of it, but okay. These were my 4 books. Now we have 3 spreads. So the first thing I'm going to do is the first 2 spreads are my own spreads that I am kind of proud of. I've been working on for a few months to try and get these correct. I made this card because I was sick of having to flip back to the pages in my tarot journal where I had written this. So I made this little like card thing for it. So I've got my new moon spread. I did do like a whole actual video talking about it, and I did like a sample reading of it and stuff. So for the new moon, they're only 3 card readings because also readings with a whole bunch of cards irritate me sometimes. The energy surrounding the ending of the previous moon cycle, energy surrounding the beginning of the upcoming moon cycle, and a foundation for setting an intention. Then on the full moon, once again, you pull out the intention card from the new moon reading. So it would be card number 3 from this one. What I've done toward my intention and what still needs to happen surrounding my intention. So, yeah, I've been working with these, and I feel like it's going really well. It's kind of forcing me to go back and, like, see progress that I've made, if that makes sense. All right, the next one, this is my, like, tarot spread book where I generally just write down spreads. Okay, this is a holiday survival spread. It's by Evie Marin. I believe she has is it a book or a deck or something out recently? Fuck, I should have looked. Okay, so I think this spread is so cool. And I will be using this soon, and it's literally just holiday survival, right? You're all of a sudden having to see family and shit. We've got family, boundaries, and balancing energies between the two. Society, personality, balancing the energy between those two. And materialism, spirit, and again, balancing the energies between those two. I think that is ingenious. It's like, it's simple enough that I don't mind drawing 9 cards. Like, I'm not a big spread doer, like a large spread doer. I am much more willing to do a spread if it has fewer cards. I feel like I read more into a single card than maybe a lot of people do. I don't know. So those were my 3 spreads. Okay, now the next 2 are habits or paraphernalia. Now what the hell? Oh my god. Okay, well, I didn't grab it, so I guess I'll just describe it to you. The first thing I'll say is the paraphernalia one is sometimes I have decks that seem to I don't know if it's the deck or the object. Something will sort of feel attracted to the other. So I have, like, small objects that certain decks, like, own. And that's... I'm sorry if that sounds insane to you, but... you can click away if you need to. Like, my Deviant Moon deck has, like, this little bitty quartz crystal, and it's that specific one. What I was gonna grab was this, like, strand of beads that I made, that belongs to the Love Oracle of Eden. They were beads I made for Aphrodite. I use that deck in my Aphrodite work, so it kind of makes sense. So I guess that's the paraphernalia. All right, now what I will say is I picked one of each, one paraphernalia and one habit. So here is something that I always do with my decks. Let's shuffle this bitch good. And I don't think by any means I'm the only person that does this. I will say that I did think of it on my own. I didn't, like, see anyone say it and then do it. That did not shuffle very well, I'll tell you that. Okay, so say that I do a reading, and then at the end of the reading, after I've read all of the cards, I always flip over the deck and I take a look at what's on the bottom. And I kind of think of it like an undercurrent. So I don't look at it beforehand because I don't want me to be looking, like, through that lens as I'm actually doing the reading itself. But afterwards, if I still feel like something maybe isn't quite clear, or it's a backwards glance, maybe, or something you thought of at the end. I don't know how to really explain it, but I always check the card on the bottom of the deck. So, that's one of my tarot habits. All right, now, the last saying, I guess we'll just flip through this so that you've got something to look at here. I forgot that kings and queens are like octopus people in this deck. The last thing is a piece of advice. Now, I wrote some notes on this, like, so that I knew what decks I needed to pull out, what books I needed to pull out. Weirdly, I feverishly wrote usability over something else that I had written. I know that I was caught in some idea, but I don't remember what that was. So, okay, here's what I'm gonna say. My most successful readings that I have given to other people is, for me, and I suspect for a lot of other people, my intuition lies in the tiny second, less than a second, that lies between flipping over a card and my brain catching up with it and being like, okay, this is the 8 of Cups, and it means, first, my brain will think something the instant that I see it. Does that make sense? I've been able to tell someone when they're going to get their back surgery, when it will finally be scheduled, even though they argued with me that, well, they had one scheduled for earlier, it got moved out to be the month that I had told them. And like the card didn't say anything about August. That wasn't like, it was in the month of August. Let me back up here. It was, they had scheduled their surgery appointment in June, and they were like, it had already gotten pushed out a couple times, and they were like, what's going on with this? So I pulled it. I don't even remember what the card was. It was like 7 of Wands or something, and some part of me was like, in that tiny second, thought of August. And that's just an example of the way that, for me at least, there's a time where your brain says something. Okay, maybe it's not even your brain. It's like your gut, or like, I don't know. Something gives you like this little flash of something. And it might not even make sense. But if you go with that, like even if I'm reading for myself, if I have a first thought and I write down, you know, every tiny, seemingly irrelevant thing, it's so often that thing that I thought of was what that card was saying. Because again, I think it's important to remember that while tarot decks are tons of fun and all that stuff, the reality is that they're a tool for your intuition. And yeah. So that's my advice. If your brain thinks something ridiculous when you flip over a card, continue to keep that in mind. All right, so this is quite the video. I don't know why I just put that card back there. Quite the long video. Anyway, I will stick all the links to all the stuff down in the description box. Thanks for watching. Bye.